Welcome, welcome back to Crafting a Meaningful Life. Do I have a piece for you today that's going to be all about crafting your meaningful life? And maybe it's been a piece that's in the back of your mind that you want to step into. But fear, perhaps, has kept you from taking a hold of this piece of your life that you know is there for you. And what we're going to talk about today is health, wellness, fitness, from healing from within, and step into this with my wonderful new friend, Adriana Shuman. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Mary. I'm so excited to be here.
So I was just so excited to find you. You are like one of those women that approaches life the way I do, with that it's bigger and fuller than we ever imagined. And don't just take a slice of it, take a big piece of it. So you're living in Carmel right now. I know you're like somewhere in the midst of Wyoming and you're in probably some hotel room, but you live in Carmel. And let's tell people a little bit about your background. I know you're a pharmacist. You have a degree in pharmacy. Mm-hmm. And you have a functional medicine approach. I, of course, know what that is, and I love that. Tell my listeners what that means when you write that down and you read that.
Thank you for the question. So I'm going to start with kind of where you started the sentence and your podcast about creating meaningful life. And I had every reason to believe that life was against me, but somewhere deep inside there was a voice that said there is more for you, and I chose to listen. And that is the message that I try to tell people, and connecting it to functional medicine and my background in pharmacy. It's been a very interesting journey. I really wanted to understand human body, and that led me to studying at Pharmaceutical University in Slovakia, where I grew up. And I wanted to understand human body because I saw a lot of suffering. Everybody in my family died from cancer. There was just a lot of disease, lot of disease. And I just wanted to understand everything. I like to understand things. And it's a word that people hear me say a lot when they work with me or on website or in my newsletters, because it really comes to understanding to be empowered and create change. And that's what leads to functional medicine. When I was working at a pharmacy during my school years, I realized the disconnection of, I understand the human body now, but what I'm actually doing, handing out medications to people that come with symptoms, I'm not solving any problems. They don't even know what's going on in their body. They're just taking these pills to just shush these symptoms so they don't feel anything, they don't have the pain, and that it's not their fault, right? This is just what we're taught to do in the Western medicine, and I was taught to do in my school as well. So it's unfortunately very common, but it should not be normal. So the functional medicine really means, and I'm going to say also, there's so many different names now for medicine, and I know, and it's heartbreaking, and it's so confusing. You have the natural medicine, you have holistic, you have functional, you have regenerative, like there's just so many names. And for me, it really just goes to one simple thing: go back to nature, how nature intends to do things, and understanding why you have the problems you have. It's always about questioning why. And when you get the answer why, then ask again, and why this? And that's called the root cause medicine. Mm-hmm. It's understanding what is actually causing me to have headache, what is causing me to have autoimmune disease, what is causing me to gain weight. And a lot of times there is more than one answer. Yeah. So we don't start with just this one thing, and it's not genetics and it's not age. I have really bad genes, and I have been able to completely shift my health. And it's not age. I'm 49, and I'm doing great. And just like you, Mary, you look absolutely incredible, and you have been through your journey and are doing great. So it's really about understanding your body, understanding how to create the environment that your body can actually thrive in, and live the vibrant health and life that we're meant to live.
I think that is probably one of the things that creates me a lot of stress is as I look around and people come to me, and I'm not a doctor at all or anything like that, but I do help with the mental health piece and the healing of those past emotions. And they are taking so many drugs. You know, when people ask me, well, what drugs do you take? At my age, they're expecting this, high blood pressure level. I'm like, I take a thyroid supplement that I've taken for about 40 years, and that's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Incredible.
I don't take anything else.
Incredible.
And they start listing this stuff. Well, I take Xanax, and I take this, and I take Prilosec, and I take this. I'm like, wow. Our health community has gotten in the habit of slapping on Band-Aids. And after you've slapped on so many Band-Aids, they're not working anymore. And that's why I love this functional medicine approach, is because it's not about putting a Band-Aid over a health problem. It is about solving that problem. So how do you go about finding out those underlying things with people?
Yeah. It takes patience. It takes true commitment, because it takes decades. It takes years and decades for us to get to a place where we need medication. It doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
It's something that we have been doing. Again, it's not our fault. Nobody's teaching us how to do health, right? Like you're learning so many things, how to do math, how to read, how to do all these things. But where do you learn how to actually do health? Nowhere, unless you're lucky enough that your parents know how to do it, right? So, but there's really no place for that. So we are poisoning ourselves with, from food to not getting sleep for detoxification, from having sedentary life, to environmental toxins, to emotional trauma that we are not solving, that you mentioned, that is a huge piece to our overall health. And we just keep doing this for years and years and decades, and then we end up with all these symptoms. And now what? Now I just need to fix it right away, right? Now I just need to get rid of it. And I tell people that symptoms are a gift. Symptoms are something to be grateful for.
Oh, I love that.
Because it's just like your friend telling you, hey, knocking on your door, I need help. What are you going to do? Just send him away? No, you're going to listen, you're going to pay attention, and you're going to try to do everything possible to help, right? And that's the same thing. It's a message. Your body is literally knocking on your head like, hey, can you please pay attention? Something you've been doing is not serving you, and I want you to pay attention and change and become the detective and figure it out. So it's not an overnight process. Just like I didn't come here, to United States overnight and everything was great. It truly takes patience, willingness, commitment, and consistency. Start looking into the environment we live in. And this is where we go into my book called Live Well that is coming out in May. And it has...
so just like around the corner, by the time this podcast airs, your book will be available.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
That is really the best way where you can start yourself. I wrote it in a way that people can really truly take it as a guide. It's not just a book with a bunch of information and they just leave it behind on a desk somewhere. It's really a guide that you can use every day. And it's based on 2 decades of my own journey and working with people and research. It's really based on science. That there's these 4 key principles to health. And one of them is what I call inner environment, which is the trauma, chronic stress, and all that kind of stuff that affects our emotional health and is directly connected to our organ health. Then is the outer environment, which are all the environmental toxins. The second pillar is food, because food, whatever we put in our mouth, is either fueling health or disease. It's that simple. Whatever you
Yeah.
are putting in your mouth is fueling health or fueling disease. And I want people to shift that mindset and really start thinking that way, right? If you're eating fried food every day or having a dessert every day or drinking alcohol every day, it's going to have an effect on your health over years and over the decades. So, and the third pillar is sleep. And sleep, I tell people, is an active process to truly rejuvenate and detoxify. And it's not a passive time where you just go lay and do nothing. Your brain is literally removing all the garbage and toxins from emotional stress to physical toxins, your whole body. And people are so much into detox now. Well, if you're not having enough deep sleep, at least 20% deep sleep, 20% of REM sleep every single night, you can do all this juicing and whatever you want. Sleep is the detoxification process. That is the most important one. And the fourth pillar is movement, and movement is the best free medicine for your mind and your body. And when you connect these four pillars, you create health. And that's why I call it Live Well method, because I want truly everybody to understand what living actually well means, and we can separate one from the other. These four pillars truly create a system of health.
Wow. So you are a health coach.
Yes,
and you
I'm a
do
health-
take clients and all those kind of things for one-on-one work, but you wrote this book so that people really who either couldn't afford that or wanted to try it on their own or do it on their own, not try.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
I love that.
All those things are there. You talked about four pillars. Some of the things you said were symptoms are a gift. Mm-hmm. That just hit me like a brick wall. Sometimes we're like, oh, a symptom, how horrible. But it's a gift to wake us up that there is a problem.
Yeah.
And that then what you said about food, that it's either healing you or hurting you. Mm-hmm. Every single thing you put in your mouth. Yeah, I've never thought of it quite that way, but I think I'm going to start using that. Maybe I'll put it up in my kitchen for a while. Is this healing or is it hurting?
Yeah, and it's really what I realized over really decades of working with people. It's actually really about shifting the mindset. It's really about shifting about how we think about things. And then that's why I believe in people, when people are told what to do, there is no way they're going to do it. It's not going to last even if they do it for a while. It makes no sense. They have to understand it. When you understand it, it's so much easier to feel empowered and make choices that actually will serve you, right? That's just how that's just how we work. It's just a very natural thing. Instead of telling people what to do or giving these tips and trends and quick fixes and blah blah blah, all these band-aids, whether it's medication or doing this and that, it's like it just doesn't work that way. You're delaying the entire process of healing and getting to the place you really want to be, and that's what hurts me the most. That it really takes an understanding of, like you said, the symptoms. It's for us to understand how to, and to know how to listen, and to really just stop and pause and just paying attention and listening. Yeah,
I think that listening piece is such a key. People may have had in their brain when you talked about food either hurting or healing, and so they're like, oh, okay, well, she's going to send me a giant list of 3,000 foods that will have either the healing or the hurting. But we don't need that, because if we just listen, our inner body knows without ever asking. Okay, let's see. Here are some eggs. Here is a cup of sugar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah, a lot of people know. Yeah.
Here's broccoli and here are French fries. Okay, both vegetables, but really, and so really, if we know, anybody who is in this day and age is hit with so much food knowledge and health knowledge that if we just stop and ask, we have natural knowing that absolutely knows these things.
Yes.
On your website, I noticed two things that really got my attention. So we're going to talk about one of them, and then we'll talk about the other one. Is that you offer a program where virtually you will actually go through someone's home and detox their home.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. That sounded so interesting. Like, I know I would come across a cupboard where I'd want to turn the camera off. Just, no, look at those.
I know. And that is the part of being honest, the part of integrity to yourself. It's not about me. I want to help you. There is no judgment. I've seen it all, trust me. And it's my job is to educate you, to help you. And kind of like you're saying, like a lot of people know, but it's, I want to be very compassionate also, because food is addictive, right? And and our habits, we learn them from somewhere, right? And it's not about blaming, it's not about judgment, it's not about shame. A lot of people feel it. That's why they're so afraid to hire even, somebody to help them and to guide them, because they're ashamed, because they're guilty. But we have to break through this, because it is so natural, it is so normal. There's so many people that feel this way, and just kind of turning into yourself and becoming truly selfish and not care about anybody else, and just that one desire that you want to be healthy. And everything that you've been doing is because that's all you've known. That's all you've known. So how can that be judged, or, blaming anybody is not going to help you either. So just
even blaming yourself.
Exactly. Yes.
It's not going to help.
No. So and I know, and I'm not saying this is easy, but I've been there. Trust me. I have been there. I had a very crazy life. So it's really about, you have to become honest. So when I go to people's homes, it's uncomfortable, but I don't, I try to make it as easy and as fun and I've had many people do this, and every single person enjoyed it, and we had a great time. But that's the part of the environmental toxins. It's like I tell people, if you're not going to take your trash out, and you just keep piling trash in your house, and it's starting to stink, and you can't have a place to even walk and make food anymore, because it's just full of trash, and you're just opening the windows, hopefully to air it out, or have essential oils in to get rid of the smells. That doesn't work that way. That's what we're doing in our bodies. We keep drinking alcohol, eating desserts, eating fried food, and a bunch of artificial ingredients and and all this stuff. And then we do detoxes, or then we take supplements. It doesn't work that way. We have to identify the toxins in our everyday life, get rid of them, trash them out, and then only put into our bodies what serves us. And yet, I want to also mention the part about, I say no guessing and no restrictions. There are obviously times, and there are ways to have, ice cream or chocolate or chips, whatever, but there are always better options. And how you eat them, how you enjoy it, so it's complex, but it can be made very simple. But with going to your question about the I call it the house wellness, is going through every room, from the kitchen to the bedroom to the bathroom and the whole house, and really identifying all of the items in your house that, because your house, that's your home, it's your sanctuary, that's where everything should be safe, and everything in your home should be serving your health. That's where you are in 100% control of what is around you. So we need to start there, from literally just taking shoes off at the door to what kind of mattress you have and creams you're putting on your body. So that's what I do, and it's fun, and it makes the process
I
very
think
easy.
that I might do okay in the kitchen, because I'm pretty aware of what I bring into my kitchen. I think in my supplement cabinet, you would probably say, that's a lot, Mary. I don't take any chemical prescriptions kinds of things, but I definitely am like, oh, that supplement might help, that supplement might help. But where I think I would really look is in my bathroom. Because I'm aware, and I still have them. I try and use clean products on my face and my toothpaste, all sorts of different things. But I have one guilty pleasure.
What is
And
it,
that
if you
is-
don't mind sharing?
I'm going to share. Okay. I love to use self tanners. And I haven't researched it because I don't want to know, but just, you know how we talked about that natural knowing? I know that those are building up inside my body because I'm smearing them over the largest organ in my body. And my body has to be absorbing them because, you know, my body
everything
stays
goes in.
tan for 2 weeks.
Yes, take a breath, and this is beautiful. Though I mean, this happens all the time. You know, that's the beautiful thing about one-on-one coaching. We find these, you know, toxins, or we find these things that don't serve our health. But then we go on this little walk, like, okay, what are we willing to do now? What are we 100% committing to shift right now? And what are we going to just kind of, because you don't want to do everything at once. It's impossible. It's overwhelming. And then you won't do anything, right? So it's just one thing at a time. And I tell people, when you are ready, just like when you're ready to face the truth about this, you know, tanning creams, then you will do it. And you have to be ready. I have learned to respect people's journey. And not it literally just to be their guide, to be their support. I'm the one who knows, who has the knowledge. I'm the one who understands how to create strategies and how to help you and how to shift your mindset. But I will go only as far as you want me to go. And we will. There's always things that, you know, there are other things that we can look at and wait when you're gonna be ready for this change. So, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're fine. Maybe you don't have to.
Okay, so this is like confession. This is how I know. Like, I have used them now for probably, well, like I said, you know, I was 284 pounds at age 50, and so it took me 6 years without surgery, drugs, injections. 6 years, I lost 140 pounds.
That's incredible, Mary.
And I went to the gym for the first time in my life. And now I'm still, at my age, one of the strongest women at my gym. But
Goosebumps listening
once
to you.
I started having a body that I didn't mind being naked, like at the gym, you know, sleeveless tops, tank tops, at the beach. I'm German and Irish. My skin's like lily white, okay, freckly. And so I began just to use those self tanners, and I've been using them now for about 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
You have the same, my husband is German Irish, American, but German Irish.
Yeah.
The one question popped up as you're sharing this, and this is so inspiring and beautiful, your story and what you're sharing, is what is it that makes you uncomfortable in your white, beautiful, freckled skin? And I triggered that because my husband is white and freckled, and I absolutely love it, and it's beautiful, and it just, I don't know. You don't have to answer, but it just popped up in my head.
That's a very good question. Of course, that actually allows me to go deeper than just because it looks good.
It looks good.
Yeah.
too.
So if you step what's deeper and what's behind that.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in the 50s and 60s, and that was before we used sunscreen. And it was just like at the end of the 60s, as we started into the 70s, that we became aware of sunscreen. And I still don't use sunscreen. For me, if I know my skin well enough, when I feel, I either cover up or I get in the shade. I just do not, because I believe it's a very a cancer-causing thing that we slather all over all the time, all day long, and
Sunscreen.
never. Yeah, sunscreen.
Okay, so what are you putting on now, though?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I'm so proud of the fact that I don't use sunscreen. Okay.
Sorry, Mary, I don't mean to jump over you, but I just want to like double click on sunscreen. Yes, and there are sunscreens that only have zinc oxide, which is a natural mineral, non-toxic, very safe. I know some are like, yeah, but it makes my skin white. There are some companies that now make it that it's your skin doesn't stay white, or you just have to rub it for a little bit longer.
Really?
But it's completely non-toxic, super safe.
Okay.
I think doTERRA actually makes one, and there's so many other companies that make one. I don't have association with any companies, but when you said that, I was like, okay, Mary, that sunscreen is probably less toxic.
It's probably less toxic than the tanner. All right, this is how I know that it's affecting me.
Yeah,
and
you know it.
That I am ignoring it.
Yeah.
And when I started to go back and think about at what point in time did my lymph nodes begin to swell. And it was 2 or 3 years after I started using this self-tanner, and it began to build up in my lymph nodes. And I've wondered in my brain, could those return to their normal size if I stopped using the self-tanner? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when we talk about the natural knowing in our body, my body says, yes.
Yeah, you know it. Now it's just
do.
letting the that is the disconnection between the mind and the body. Your body always knows. I always tell people, get into that heart, get into that body, and just listen. Your body knows before your head, because we have our ego in our head. We have, we live in denial. We have our stories, and it's all fine. I mean, we all have it. There is no judgment again, but knowing that we do, and knowing that we need to connect the mind and body together and act from that place. And again, get the support, right? Get somebody who will support you, because it's hard many times. Like, we're having this conversation and you're so open and honest about it, and maybe this is going to lead to that change. Who knows? But it's really, these conversations are really important, and you're inspiring somebody else right now, probably, who's using maybe the same product as you are. It's like, oh, wow. Because really, it doesn't happen. You said 2-3 years later, you notice your lymph nodes, and it really takes time. Our bodies are incredible at adapting.
Right.
And
they're very resilient, but
yes,
only...
very. But 10-20 years later, you might end up with something and be like, shoot, why didn't I listen to my body?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's easy to look for all the Band-Aids that are out there.
Yeah.
And it's easy to, like, I have gone for lymphatic massage, lymph drainage, that kind of thing. And I think, oh, see, I'm helping my body. Instead, I just keep...
That's what I'm taking.
In my brain, I'm wondering, well, then what would be a good way to start, Mary? Maybe I could just use it less. Maybe rather than putting it on every time I get out of the shower, I could say, okay, well, maybe just when you go on vacation and that you want to, would you be okay with that? Would you be okay? And rather than going cold turkey, just use it less.
I can hear how this is hard, and so imagine this is difficult for you, and it's the same thing with food for other people, with exercise or going to bed
or alcohol.
Alcohol, sugar. I mean, it's with everything. These are our little addictions. These are all things that we don't want to give up. That is making our life better in whatever way, even though it might not be, but we believe that it is making our life better. So it's really. This is that fun part about coaching, where we dig deeper and try to find different ways to make you feel, or what feeling really are you looking for, right? But that's the part of having these conversations and finding ways that you can feel whole and comfortable with the way you are, and doing things that are serving your health, so you don't have to have that body whispering at you like, hey, Mary, please pay attention.
All right. I'm going to focus on that, and I'm going to make some decisions according to my health and wellness in regards to that self-tanner. Ooh, ooh.
Wow, that's big.
Well, you talk about for 15 years now. I've used this.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah, but we're here to evolve, and if we're ready,
and not put my head in the sand any longer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm there, Adriana. I got this.
That's awesome.
On your website, one of the things you talk about are that there are some very specific habits for people to really develop if stepping into health and wellness truly is their goal. Because I joke to people, I'm living to 105, but do I really want to live to 105 if my brain is gone, or if I can't get out of my wheelchair, or if whatever it is? No, I don't want to live to 105 like that. I want to be vibrant, contributing, healthy, walking around the block every day until I can't take my last breath. Up and movement is huge to me.
It is. And
so what are those habits that are going to lead to that kind of healthy lifespan?
Well, those habits are really the core of the Live Well methodology, and it's, as we've been talking a lot about the environmental toxins, the other one is identifying and removing also the toxins, the inner toxins, the stress and the trauma, addressing those. I always start my clients with that kind of work. It's the inner work, and it's always shocking for everyone that comes to me, I want to get off my blood pressure medication, or I have all these autoimmune disease issues, or weight and all that stuff, but we always start with the inner environment.
Yeah.
So and I have steps to take in all of those. For example, for the inner environment, I call it sit and release practice. If anybody listening wants a little tip on that, it's a very simple, every morning, a routine that you have to do consistently. This is not one time or once a week. This is every day. I've been doing this for decades. Every single day of my life, I cannot get up and just go on and start living, my day. I have to do my sit and release practice, and it looks different every time, but just starting really 5 minutes, sitting quietly in the same spot every morning after you drink your clean filtered water, and letting the emotions come through, whatever thoughts and emotions are coming in, again, getting into the body and really feeling, and having a pen and paper next to you, not a phone, and writing everything down that comes through you. And there's going to be different things that your body is finally going to be allowed to feel, and you're going to be allowed to process and release it. Because the ultimate goal is to release all the stress and traumatic events from your body, so it doesn't cause diseases. And the part that most people are uncomfortable with is the feeling, is the emotions, and that's what we need to get back to. And unfortunately now with all the media and just being so distracted with everything, we are more and more bombarded by all the noise that keeps us disconnected from our body emotions. So it's 5 minutes sit and release practice every morning. And then, as we talked about, the food is a message to your body, fueling health or disease. So there's multiple steps. I mean, it's very complex. I make it very simple in the book so people can follow it. I mean, that's really the best way to do this, is to just get my book, and you have every chapter is basically my pillar, and it guides you through it. And also, actually, if people pre-order my book before May 13th, they get these guides. They're just literally this step at a time, one step, and you just go through these steps. It's just very simple. You don't even have to think about it. It tells you exactly what to do, why it works. And then that's for the food, just thinking about that. And I have, for example, I'll share for my non-negotiables when it comes to food is I don't drink alcohol, but I've never really drank alcohol besides at university. I was trying stuff, so that was easy for me. But I don't eat any fried foods. That's just an absolute non-negotiable. And I don't eat gluten anymore, just because how wheat is raised, and grown now.
Right.
So those are my two non-negotiables. And I gave up sugar long time ago. I think my dad was my biggest lesson when it comes to sugar, watching him being addicted to sugar and painfully dying from cancer. And so that I think he saved me, because I was really addicted to sugar just like he was. And sleep is an active process that heals and detoxifies. And again, I have this framework where I teach people about how to, it's called DREAMS, and it's an acronym, and it's easy to remember the D's for dark. Always have darkness in your bedroom, complete darkness.
Yes.
Yeah. R is for relax, so you don't get off your phone and just go to bed and think that you can just have a great deep sleep. Like, you have to have some kind of relaxation practices, and I go deeper into this in the book. E is for environment, making sure your bedroom is not cluttered, that it's clean. A is for air. We want the air to be cool, because your body temperature drops before you go to sleep. So allowing that to happen with your room to be cooler. M is for mute, and that is complete silence in your room, unless you need some white noise and things like that. People can always use machines. I like air filters, because then you kind of get a double. They make a little kind of white noise and clean your air. And the last, dreams, S, is for your supper, making sure it's at least 3 to 4 hours before bed. And,
I make sure it's 5.
Yes, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And supplements like magnesium and things like that. So that would be for sleep. And for movement, I have. Sounds like you definitely are into movement now, and it's amazing, because it's really important. I call it movement in my pillar. I don't call it exercise, because we're meant to move. We're supposed to move more than sit. That's just a natural way we're supposed to be. And I know that we kind of have to now plan it more because of the way we're living. And I'm the same way. Like, I'm traveling, like you said, now. But at home, if I was at home, I have a treadmill. I don't have a chair at my desk. That's just, again, it's my non-negotiable. I am not going to have a chair there. So that, there's so many things that people can do. But for the movement, I have what's called 3 W's. The first W is for weights. So lifting heavy weights at least 3 times a week safely. And the second W is for walk. It's like zone 2 walking, which, again, I go deeper into the book. And then the third W is for winded, and that's getting out of breath at least once a week. You don't have to do it really more than that from the research, but at least once a week getting winded. So, again, every pillar has
That sounds just about like my movement routine. I do 3 days a week cardio, 3 days a week weight training, and on the 7th day I do something really that wins me. I'm either hiking or I'm playing pickleball, or I'm doing some sport activity where yes, I need a break, just a minute, let me sit down.
Yeah.
But if you're not ever doing anything where you have to say, okay, just a minute, I'm out of breath. That is so good. I love that.
Yeah.
I just know my listeners are going to want to know more about you. I'm going to order your book.
Thank you. I do have social media. I have Instagram, and it's my website, and everything is Your Wellness Made Simple. That's the name of my business. And I am on Instagram now a lot because of the pre-launch. Anybody who has launched a book, it's very heavy on social media. But my main way to connect with people is truly through my newsletter that I send out every Thursday, and I send once a week simple shift, and it's really, really helpful to people when they just get this one simple shift to make for the next week. And I get so many replies, and I read every reply for people when they are asking questions or just sharing, how they did the week before. So if anybody wants to sign up to my newsletter, that's on my website. I
would love that. And then you can ask me, well, how's that self-tanning coming?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to make some changes there. I'm not quite sure how fast I'm going to do them, but I know that I am.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge shift. What you're already talking about it and thinking about it. That's a first step.
I have a hard time imagining myself at the gym with my
Beautiful.
little muscle shirt on and my arms and just lily white. Okay, but
Yeah.
I can do this. I can.
Yes,
And I
you can.
want to. I think that's the big thing is I'm at the point where I want to because I want health and wellness.
Yeah.
I want to. I've done all this other stuff. And it dawned on me the other day when I was looking at all my healthy face creams and serums and things. And then after I put those on, I slather on this.
Yeah. I mean, if it's helpful, it's the biggest pool for people to make change is to write down all the whys. And you said a lot of them, but why do I actually want to make this change? And really feel that and get into the body again. Like, why is this important to me? Because if the why is not strong enough, there's nothing that can push you really, right? It's you want that to be pulling you towards that desire to change.
You know, that's one of the lines that I talk a lot about in my book is change happens when the why becomes stronger than the fear of the change.
Yeah.
And
you know it.
I do. This I think of all the stuff I've overcome, Adriana, this is like nothing.
Yeah,
this should be a piece of cake for me.
There we go.
I've just absolutely loved having you on here, and that you are so accessible. I really encourage my listeners to go to your website because there was just free thing after free thing after free thing, and I'm going to get your book. I'm going to do a review on it on my social media, and we'll just be excited to stay connected with you and all that you're offering, really as a gift to the planet.
Thank you, Mary. You're very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, that's who you are. Look at her. Isn't she just as sweet as you can tell? She's a safe place to land. All right, my sweet listeners. And so your Post-it note for this week is choose those things that are bringing health to your life, not hurting your life. To make a decision every time we pick something up, whether the time we put it in our mouth, when we make an action, when we think thoughts. Adriana said it here. Is this healing or hurting? Thank you for joining us on Crafting a Meaningful Life.
Thank you.
Crafting a Meaningful Life.